friends, good afternoon to all of you. Now, I think time has come for me to get back to my playlist wherein I started off with the journey wherein I wanted to discuss more about the importance of, I should say, grammar, especially when we are writing a paper. Conducting, I should say, a review paper, or you are involved with your higher studies like MBA program or MPhil or PhD, or even postdoc also. Now if you look at certain things, you will notice that majority of them, they are giving us a lot of importance to grammar. They haven't, I would say, proceeded further by side glancing it, in the sense that ignoring it in at any cost. While doing my own research over this particular question, whether grammar must be given importance while we are doing research or not. I found a lot of material which was available for me, number one, and the answer is in positive terms that yes, you need to focus upon the grammar, especially when it comes to the research academic writing. Now when I say research academic writing, I'm involving all kinds of academic writings like essay, reflective essays, internship reports or summaries. You can talk about a project at MBA level. Going further, you can even say at MPhil level, when you go ahead and submit your dissertation, PhD, your thesis is there. If you are doing your postdoc, then definitely yes, your project has got its own importance. And later on, in majority of the ways, even in the publications, and I'll be showcasing to you what different editors from the Scopus or ABCD journals have to say about the grammar. Now I have seen till 2013 lot of importance was given in terms of what exactly has to be placed out with respect to the tensions or with the other parts of English grammar. Now as a communication teachers, and I would say I spent nearly 6 years teaching this particular paper in a private college which was affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh IP University, and I was given the responsibility to teach this particular paper. Along with the placement services also, I would say. And I was amazed to find out that yes, lot of importance was given to the communication on one side, and on the other side the personality of a person. If it is a management program, definitely yes, the personality, before they are presentable in front of the placement team which has come to recruit them, hire them for their own jobs, I saw that yes, they give a lot of importance to the manner in which the person was speaking. Number one. Number two, I have also observed during those years that the companies which used to come over along with the team of the individuals, they used to start off speaking in English language. Now, you see, being Indian, we are not so much flourished with the English language. So, my personal discussions with them before, I can invite the lined up students to present themselves for the interviews, I had to question them. Why is it that they are making English as a language, as a medium to, get recruited for a particular company? So, they gave me XYZ reasons for that. And later on I said that okay, you start off your interviews with English language. However, if you feel that yes, the student's personality fits in with the local language, I'm talking about Hindi, Punjabi, or let's say Bengali or Telugu, whatever those languages are, Indian languages, especially if they are going ahead with the specialization from HR or marketing. operations also. Then I said, if you are feeling that yes, you are asking them to represent for your international services, then I would say that yes, English has to be very important. Now that goes with that kind of a thing. However, I saw, observed that yes, they had to give. Now even while they were reading certain reports or the project reports, I saw that some of them commented, you did not focus on grammar. There were so many grammatical mistakes. Number one, at that time I made it a point that yes, to some extent they should go ahead and give importance to the English grammar rules also side by side. That was my first observation in the field for the students coming from the management side. Then I saw the law students. Now law, where I was recruited and was teaching English and legal, I should say the paper was titled as Legal and General English for the law students. Now there, in the first year itself, they had I should say the book which was given to them, which focused on the importance of the English language, and students really had to question me, ma'am, why we should go ahead. I said, see, either you make it a point that yes, you are going to be smart kids and smart lawyers or advocates or judges for yourself in future, then you are going to go ahead and participating in some of the competitive areas like MUN, which is Model United Nations, or you can say MOOC courts, which are there for them. Then I told them, without the English language, how are you going to present yourself of Model United Nations? Because I loved Model United Nations, and as a graduate student, and even as a postgraduate, I should say that I did attend a lot of MUNs, and I have seen what is the culture over there and how the smart kids who are very good in their communication are taken over to go ahead with the future things also. However, I could not join up that team because I was already working as a faculty. Now that was one thing. Then by the time they reached to their final year, that is in the 5th year, again I saw that yes, they were supposed to take the grammar classes, wherein they were supposed to focus on certain grammar parts of the English language, and they need to master them, and that was mandatory. And later on, when I was in discussion with some of the experts coming from the law department, they can be, I can say, lawyers who are professionals over there. I asked them, and they now are into the teaching field. They have to leave lawyership somehow. I don't know why they have to leave the litigation field and enter into the teaching. When I questioned them, as a lawyer, what do you feel? Do you think that in India it is mandatory to know English language? Because the local courts, district courts, when they are handling the situations, they are handling the real life situations, the trials I'm talking about. Now if those are in local language, why the hell a student should go ahead with the English language? Then they said that, Ramani, it is not necessary, because you are going to segregate the students coming from different areas. Some of them might be joining up as corporate lawyers, others might join up litigation, the others can come up with their own advocacy. Then there are others who might enter into the teaching field, into the research area, or they might even go for the judicial examination and become the future judges. And then he said very clearly that to be a judge, it is mandatory that your communication skills are really good. Ultimately, in some areas, some states of India, definitely yes, they are writing in Hindi language. However, we are into that culture where we are not experts of English language, neither we are experts of the English language nor for the local languages. So I said that, how are you going to tackle the situation for these students? Then he said that for studying law, it has become mandatory that we follow UK English, British English, and students should somehow go ahead and master. And I have seen, in the sense the Judge Sahab has seen that law students with good communication communication skills, can definitely flourish like anything. If you are doing law just for the heck of securing a degree, that is not going to help you out at all. And then I myself witnessed the students who were participating in Model United Nations, or going ahead with the MOOC course, participating in those kind of debates or presenting themselves, unless and until they do not carry that personality with them with English language, the getting the job in the market for them turned out to be a bit difficult. And they understood what is the importance of the English language as they started proceeding further. So I have seen that myself, I have experienced as a faculty with the students. And it's not just the management law only that we are restricted. I have seen even for the architecture, planning and designing, fashion management, go ahead with the engineering, where I know certain departments like computer science was happy because all the future BTech students or the software engineers, they were excellent in their communication. By the time I came to ECE, that is the civil engineers, or electrical or communications department, or let's say even the one more electrical department, I had the tough time, because the students say that कि मैम मेरे को तो engineering करना है, English थोड़ी सीखना है मेरे को. So slowly then I have to tell them that, see, till the time you don't get a job, it's fine for you. However, till that time you need to go ahead and you need to come up with this kind of skill that you need to develop in yourself. So slowly there had to be a lot of extra classes where we need to go ahead. Now that is on one side. Now when I see the students entering, my own law students or architecture or the BTech students entering into their masters or even at their higher education level getting registered, they said that, ma'am, whatever you have taught us in English and whatever you have given us the tips are really useful for us at the moment. So I saw finally after 6 years or 7 years of my teaching that yes, language matters a lot, and to get into that market, you need to have that expert area. Now majority of us are doing the research in English language. We are not doing in the local languages. Remember that. If you are writing your thesis in Hindi language, I would say English is a crack for you. I can understand. However, if you are writing your thesis or your dissertation or your report in English, please be very careful that English is mandatory for you. And when you are writing, because we are focusing now on Scopus, ABCD, and sometimes we are hitting the international journals, definitely yes, they are focusing on your grammar. They will see how well you're writing the sentences. If it is not, if English is not your first language, they will ask you, please, you have to be very careful before you're sending your paper, even for the publication also. So you need to take care. So I think one of the individuals who picked up this question, and he was asking me, ma'am, do you think that grammar is really important in research? And at that time I thought and I said yes, because I was discussing with the team of the publishers from LexisNexis, who publish basically more of the law books, number one. Number two, on the other side, I had to focus with another publisher who focuses more on the technical fields, engineering fields, architecture, all those kind of things. Now, I'm not supposed to name them. Now, you will see that they said they made it very equally. Ramani ma'am, can you come up with some kind of a book in which these things are written? And then I started surveying, and now when I have written a systematic literature review paper, especially on this one, whether grammar is really important in research academic papers. And my answer has come up as fully yes. And I have a lot of literature available which I'll be sharing with each one of you. And these have been collected in the form of the articles from the various journals, wherein they give you the guideline how you're supposed to do it. And even when you are citing or referring certain books and everything, I'm talking about APA, MLA, you will see that they are emphasizing on the certain guidelines. Therefore, you see the journals which are focusing on APA, they take it, the editors take it for granted that yes, you are aware of this thing. However, if you are not aware, then you will think, "Are English kisko dekhna hai," kind of thing. However, if you are very clear, then you will see that publishers like Taylor and Francis, Sage, and you can go for the other ones, Wiley, and you will see that these are the publishers who are really looking for good English in your, I mean, basic criteria for matching up with the tensions, because their articles are not just targeting the Indian audience. These journals are being read even in other countries also. So remember that English becomes a universal language in that way, and they are going to read it. Now here is a small I would say guides which I was able to find out in let's say 3-4 areas. Number one, ResearchGate. Number two, academia.edu, that is there, and to some extent the other places. And I have seen that yes, they are talking about the functions of, I would say, the way the grammar has to take up. Now majority of them raised the question, and that question was basically on whether tenses are really important for research writing or not. Now this is one thing that they have seen, because if you are expert of tenses, then everything else becomes much more easier. So they really wanted to find out how good you are with your own tenses and how you can go ahead and understand it. So here you will see that a person has said, I mean, I have said, these are not my words, these are come up from the various papers that I was reading, and I'll be showcasing to you one by one as to what they are discussing. And one more thing that I wanted to point out is that unfortunately in our country we do not I would say see a department, a separate department, unlike the foreign or the international universities, where a complete team is there which really helps the students to come up with their learning curve with regards to the communication or writing or reading. Now you see in other universities, I'm talking about the non-Indian universities, I see that they have this proper skill development labs where they are focusing on writing skills, on reading skills, and they take up workshops for the students wherein they can go ahead, they can become experts, or they are able to take these services. Unfortunately in our country I do not see. However, when my interaction was there with these individuals, they said that we do guide the students. So I think one of us can take the initiative for coming up with the writing labs or reading labs where the focus is on the development of writing properly, of reading properly, and it's not just the research ki okay humne kar liya aur chale gaye, like I'll be talking about those things later on. However, here they are giving importance. So my, I would say research over an interaction and conversations with these individuals who are providing the services, I had to question them. How well are they giving importance? And then they said, we give a lot of importance. And that's why you see, for example, if you are submitting a paper to Taylor and Francis, if they find that your language is not good, language, I'm talking about the writing language over there, the communication, the written communication style, they will say that we are ready to offer you the services, why don't you take up? So what is happening? They have got the team which goes ahead and they are going to do these corrections for you. And my interaction again with them came up with certain things which are the universal features. So I said, okay, let me go ahead and share with each one of you so that you are also aware as to what kind of things you need to focus upon, and in case you are not good at it, you have done your research and you want to take up, it's always better to contact another person who is good at their communication and they are able to help you out in whatever way they feel like. So here they have made it very clear, whenever you are writing a title of an article or a report or a project or for your thesis or dissertation, it has to be in the present tense. Now remember this thing very clearly, and you will understand that yes, these things are taking place. So this is my point number one. Point number two, they have also made it very clear what, that abstract should be written in imperfect past. Now this is not the forum for me to discuss what do we mean by imperfect past tense or perfect past tense or a complete sentence, incomplete sentence, simple present tense or a simple past tense at all. Though I'm coming up with a different playlist wherein you can have a look at it, you can see them, watch them, and you can learn a lot about these things also. The third one, the point that they talk about is introduction. Okay, now while you're writing an introduction, they said that it has to be exclusively, they have made it a point, please go ahead and you can take care of which is present in what they call it as present and future tense. That's one more thing that you will have to understand when you are coming up. Let me just mark it out. These are the areas, that is the methodology, then you are coming up with the results section, discussion, which we all know where it comes in your own writing, and last is your I would say conclusion. Now here they have made it very clear that yes, if this is the case, when you come to methodology, remember that the moment you reach to methodology, you will have to remember that if you are starting off with basically what we call it as the area chapter which is present, you will understand that yes, it has to be in past perfect, present tense, future, or a mix of all these things. So if you are I'll showcase to you certain examples, because I have taken care that yes, we should be able to understand as to how these things are being taken care of. The moment you come to results, it has to be in past perfect tense for you, because it is already taken care, in the sense that you have already done everything and now you are simply discussing or presenting your results, as simple as that. The moment you come for the discussion, now this is with a star mark they have given, and I will showcase to you what exactly do they mean that it has to be in present tense, that because this is your discussion, whatever you have found out, you are discussing your analysis out here, so it has to be necessarily be in present tense itself. The moment you come to conclusion, remember some of them have raised a question saying that should we go ahead with the mixture, like saying that in the prior studies or the already published material tells you so much, so my research has given, so in that way it becomes a mixed reaction. Or can we say that there is something which we call it as the conditional present tense? Now here this is the one that you need to understand, that yes, there is something which we call it as the conditional present tense, and I would be discussing all these things one after the other in the forthcoming I should say videos of mine, especially taking up examples from the published papers, and sometimes I'll be picking up what the important journals have to say. When I say important, I'm talking about the Scopus, Emerald, Elsevier, Willett, Taylor and Francis, and some other journals also I'll be picking up, like Journal of Marketing Research, Journal of Marketing, Then I have got fill papers, similarly BMC if I have to cover, like, I'm not just going to focus only on management or finance or commerce or travel and tourism or hospitality. No, I have to focus even on health sciences, nursing. So we will have to look up into all these things also side by side. And apart from these things, even if you can get hold of some of the templates, you will see that even in the templates they mention it very clearly what all things, and we will look at them also side by side, and we will understand how to carry forward, especially when you're talking about tables, figures, images. Let's say you are referring to certain text or the papers which are published, so all those things will be present for us. So I think it's a lovely journey to understand the importance of grammar. And me, I would say, when I was given this responsibility, I myself was thinking, now the students who are coming from the areas of Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, does English really matter for them? Ultimately, for example, if they are from the marketing field, they have to be in the market in the local area. So does English really matter to them? Similarly, what happens to those students who go ahead and are recruited in multinational companies or corporates? There, does the language and personality matter to them? And the answer was yes. Now, so and so that my management team which was present, they said that you will have to even go to that level, Ramani, wherein you will have to teach a student how to tuck their shirt inside their trousers, or how many buttons should be opened when they are wearing their full hand shirt, whether they can wear a half hand shirt or not, or is it mandatory to wear. Now I was just thinking, okay, so these are also part of the things that are there apart from the grammar that is present over there, and the style in which you are taking care. So there are certain things which we will see out here, and most probably I would be focusing on certain other things also side by side in these lecture, I mean to say video presentations of mine. So I hope all of you enjoy it. Till then, thank you and take care. Bye.